Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. We're doing a review on Bravely Default 2 today, so let's make a start on that review. Although this is called Bravely Default 2, it's actually the third game in the series because the second game was called Bravely Second, so not to confuse you too much, but this is the third game in the Bravely Default series. I haven't played any of the other games before, but I've really got into RPGs since owning a Switch, and you'll know from any of the other reviews I've done, I love cel-shaded games, so the artwork of this game really drew me in, and so far I'm really enjoying the game. In terms of the look of the game, from the gameplay you can see here, I think everyone will agree with me that it just reminds me so much of Ni no Kuni. That element of where you leave a city and then you go into the open world, but you can still see the smaller version of the city behind you, and maybe the graphics aren't quite as nice from when you were inside that city and when you're in the open world. It's not quite as clean, I would say. I don't play lots of JRPGs, so I'm not 100% sure whether this feature is standard throughout all JRPGs. I've really enjoyed that auto advance feature when you're watching a story. It means in handheld mode, it's like having a graphic novel and it looks fantastic. I haven't got to keep pressing the A button to skip through all the writing. So that's a feature I've really enjoyed, and it makes it so fun to play the game. I don't want to include too many spoilers, so I'm just going to give a basic overview of the plot and the storyline. So it is set in a different world prior to the old games, so you can play this without actually having played any of the other games, and you won't need to know what's kind of going on with the story. But you arrive on a continent called, and I'm trying to pronounce this correctly, Exiliant, which is divided into 5 different kingdoms. And the game follows 4 main characters, and you're a young sailor named Seth, or if you grew up of an era where you only had 3 letters to choose from for your name, I've called myself Lee. And then you have a princess named Gloria, a traveling scholar called Elvis, and a mercenary named Adele. And that's your 4 players in your squad. And then you have to go out into the continent, and your aim is to retrieve crystals of the 4 elements. So that's obviously wind, water, earth, and fire. So that's a basic story overview without too many spoilers. So I'm used to playing a lot of hack and slash RPGs or action RPGs, so it was quite a breath of fresh air coming in and playing a tactical RPG. So with Bravely Default, it obviously works along those 2 words, brave and default. Now when you're in battle, if you select default, it allows you to basically build up strength so you can take more goes at once. So each time you press default, it will allow you to have a second go. And then when you're ready, you would press that brave, and you would press it however many times you've saved up that default, so you could end up attacking 4 or 5 times in a row. And that's where the tactical element of the game comes in. And it's been really fun. You obviously have to really bide your time with it. Sometimes you need to go in straight away and attack if it's quite a low enemy. If it's quite a high enemy, you might want to save up those attacks and then focus all your energy, 5 or 6 attacks in a row, on one character. I would definitely be prepared to put in well over 100 hours for this game because there's a lot of grinding to be done. You really need to spend time building up those characters, building up their main job and their sub job, because it's going to come in really handy when you do eventually get to those more challenging bosses. I rushed a little bit at the beginning because I wasn't too sure of what I was doing, and I ended up getting to bosses and, well, more challenging enemies that should have been easy to beat had I just spent a little bit longer at the start grinding through and building up those characters. So be prepared to put lots and lots of hours into this game. It seems a little bit odd, but I'm both going to praise the game for how it looks, and I'm also going to criticize the game for how it looks. there's certain elements of the game where you're looking at it and you think, wow, this just looks so incredible. They've really obviously spent a long time with this artwork. It looks brilliant, and you're amazed by how good the game looks. And then there's a few elements where, with the grass and just a few little bits where you think, could they have just spent a little bit more time improving that? So I guess it's maybe not a criticism as such, but just a slight frustration that it's almost like you've got this perfect game that looks amazing, plays amazing, but then there's just a few elements where it's not quite as tidy. It just looks a little bit poor. So it's been a slight frustration for me because I love the artwork and I do think it looks great, but there are just a few areas, particularly with the grass and a few places like that, that I felt like they could have improved and just made look a little bit nicer. I picked this game up from the Amazon page, the official Nintendo seller on Amazon, and it cost me £50. There is no special edition as such, but with that I did get some posters, I got some postcards, and I also got some stickers. So it was quite a nice touch. Obviously the cartridge and everything is in the box. It's a shame it didn't come maybe with that special sort of cardboard box and make a special edition, but maybe they'll do that later on down the line, possibly. I'm not sure, but you're looking at about £50 for this game. You might be able to pick it up slightly cheaper, but it's going to be around that £50 mark. I think if you're a fan of Pokemon and a fan of Ni no Kuni, I think you'll really enjoy this game, particularly if you like anime as well and graphic novels. That's what it's felt like when I'm playing the game in handheld mode. It's almost like I'm reading a book, and you've got that auto advance as well, so it's great to be able to just sit back and watch the story unfold without having to worry about pressing any buttons. And for £50, it's obviously a AAA game. It's what you have to pay for this type of game, but you are going to get hundreds and hundreds of hours of gameplay, so it's not exactly a short game. You really do get a lot of game for your money. I haven't experienced any glitches or any bugs in the game, which is brilliant. It's what you kind of want to expect, and it's what you should expect from a AAA game. It's hard to not give this game 10 out of 10. It's close to that 10 out of 10. I give it a 9. There's just a few slight frustrations graphically that I think could be improved, but anyone who likes JRPGs, or if you're just getting into RPGs, I think you'll really enjoy this. It's a great story, and it's a really, really fun game to play. With the amount of RPGs now on the Switch, there's so many to choose from. I definitely think this one is up there. It's something new for me, especially with playing a new tactical RPG. Hopefully, with lots of the rumours flying around about a Switch Pro or a Switch XL, we do get a slightly longer battery life, because it's what we need when we are playing these games that take hundreds and hundreds of hours to complete. So fingers crossed we do get that in the coming months. But thanks a lot for watching the review. Do obviously let me know what other games you'd like to see me review in the comments below. If you have any questions about the game, leave them in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer them. Thanks a lot for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.